Hi, I'm Ryan Blair, #1 New York Times bestselling author and founder of Altar Call, a community of spiritual entrepreneurs that know that they're destined for greatness. In this video, I'll be answering questions around spiritual growth, personal growth, entrepreneurial growth, and any questions that you have about becoming the best version of yourself. I wrote something down the other day in my journal, and I'll share it with you. I don't normally share my journals, so hold on here. I wrote, I want my tombstone to read, there never was a man who loved God more. Through that love, he loved his son unconditionally and his neighbors unequivocally. That's how I want to be remembered. So in the event that you're here for my death, you got to make sure that that's on the tombstone. We are like supercomputers, and we're only limited by our beliefs and our misconceptions. And so that's the code that basically powers a computer. Each and every single one of us is capable of doing so much, but we don't do it because we have bad beliefs and basically bad code. And so we're highly affected by it. But the way to actually change a belief is to evaluate your thinking. So when you notice that you have a negative thought, you want to replace it with a positive. And that's the antidote. The antidote to a negative thought is to replace it with a positive thought. But the cure is to change the underlying belief that caused the thought in the first place. One of the things that drives me crazy is when people say, you're not broken, you're whole, you're perfect the way you are. So that's not true. We get broken all the time. We get our trust broken, we get our friendships broken, we break our bones when we're not being mindful and we fall down a flight of stairs as I have. Things get broken in us all the time. Our homes get broken into. We live an existence right now where we are often broken. And when these spiritual gurus tell you, you're not broken, you're just fine the way you are, I think that's like giving out 5th place trophies to people. You're broken. Now, what'd you do to get in the hole? And what do we got to do to get you out of it? Sometimes it's not your fault. Sometimes something else broke you. There's nothing wrong with admitting that because you can't break a heart in the same place twice. The key to putting yourself back together is look at the pieces of you on the ground. And the pieces that are broken, leave them behind. Accept them, learn from them, and leave them behind. Take the good parts and put yourself back together in a new way. A way that is whole, a way that is pure, and a way that is aligned with your higher power. And then you will be whole. But you can never be whole if you're just listening to these gurus telling you you're just fine the way you are. You've done some stupid stuff in your life. You've made some terrible decisions. You haven't taken care of your body. You've abused yourself. You have sinned. You've abused others. And I know this. Like, I'm not judging people because I once upon a time did all of the sins that I just described. And I was broken. I was a spiritual swamp. And so when people tell people, oh, you're not broken, you're fine just the way you are, I want to slap them in the face and say, this person is broken. They need to learn how to put themselves back together in a way so they don't get broken again. But if you tell them you're just fine the way you are, you're enabling them. And that's what our culture has turned into. We have people that are unhealthy, that are sick, that are incompetent, that are wasting their life away, and we're telling them, you're not broken, you're just fine the way you are. That is the problem with our society right now. You have to get out of the environment that made you sick in the first place. So the first step is, you have to change friends, change locations maybe, but you have to change the environment. And once you change the environment, then you have the space to heal. But most people are sick, and they keep plugging into the same environment that made them sick, the same substances, the same alcohol or drugs or pornography or friends. And it's not that your friends or your family are wrong, but that environment made you sick. So you got to get some distance from it. And with that space, you can start to create the new you. What's a day in the life of a spiritual warrior? It's real simple, but it's real hard to do. All a spiritual warrior has to do every single day is embody the characteristics of a spiritual warrior, which there's 9 of them. We call them the fruits of the Spirit. And they're love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Easier said than done. That's part of the reason why we've created the Spiritual Warrior Society. We've created tools to help people actually embody those virtues. You know, we spend most of our time living in negative energy. The negative energies that we live in are shame, grief, regret, revenge, rage, anger, apathy, resentment, right? We live in these negative energies, and that's the way most people are programmed. And so part of being a spiritual warrior is reprogramming yourself to live in the higher vibrational energies. A great leader cares about the people that are following them. John Maxwell, a mentor of mine, said, the worst day in the life of a follower is the day that leader lets them down. That stuck with me. And there are times where I've let my followers down. You know, I went through some tough times. I didn't understand the responsibility of being a leader. And now that I realize that, I do my best to make sure that I honor the commitments that I make to my followers, and that I'm constantly growing as a leader each and every single day. As leaders, we have to grow. And if we're growing, our followers are growing. And so the key to being a great leader is to constantly be growing and share that wisdom as best as you possibly can. And each and every single day, I turn to the greatest leader of all time. That's my higher power. I ask for strength, I ask for wisdom, and I ask for the ability to be of the utmost service. And most days my prayers are answered, and that's why I'm an effective leader. One of the ways that I learned how to pray, and the reason why I'm, brushing dirt off my shoulder right now, I'm pretty good at it, is because I got myself into a lot of bad stuff as a kid. I would burglarize stuff. I would do all kinds of crime. I was always hustling, always running crime. And there was a lot of times where I was close to getting caught. In fact, a couple times undercover cops would come in and they would try to buy from me, and I'd recognize it. Like a voice would whisper in my ear, that's a cop, and I wouldn't sell to them. So there was a number of times where my guardian angel actually stopped me from going to jail. Or when I did go to jail, I was able to pray my way out of it. So I actually learned my spiritual gifts by learning how to pray my way out of some very difficult times. So I give all the grace to God because He's been merciful in my life. And so now that's why I spend my life in service, teaching other people how to pray their way out of hard times too. Well, I've had a lot of altar call moments. I have a guardian angel. One time my guardian angel kicked in. I used to drink a lot. I was drinking heavily. I made a mess on some celebrity's table. He had like bottle service, kicked me out of the club. I was just ridiculous. And I walked out and I left my coat. I'm in the middle of winter in Park City, and I just have, short sleeves. And it's like 2 miles away where I'm staying. There's no cabs, and I gotta walk in the middle of the freezing cold. And I'm walking, I'm staggering, and I fall into a snowbank, and I think it's gonna be funny because it's just like looks like a little snow, and I fall in, all of a sudden I'm down deep inside of a snowbank. And a voice kicks in and says, Ryan, this is life or death. You need to get up now. You need to get out of here now. Because I'm cold, I'm stuffed in the snow, and I get up, I'm wet, I'm freezing, and I'm like, this is bad. I gotta walk 2 miles in the middle of snow in the winter, and all of a sudden out of nowhere a car comes, pulls over. It's like literally there was an angel in the car, gets me in and says, I'm driving you to your location. And so I've had tons of those types of circumstances. By the grace of God, this is part of the reason why I no longer drink, and I help people through those types of challenging times, because I have been rescued by grace 1,000 times. We call those altar call moments. I've had many of them. And that's why I created Altar Call, was to help people facilitate those moments. Hey, if you like this video, like and subscribe. I guess there's like some knobs that you can press to do that. Or check me out on Instagram. I'm @RealRyanBlair. DM me and we'll have a conversation.